Well, hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. Do you know those little clickers that people sometimes have for counting things? Maybe people going into a pub, things like that. Well, if you had one in your pocket and you clicked it every time a question popped into your mind, whether or not you actually vocalise it and ask it, I wonder how many you'd count in a day. I looked up some research. It said on average, adults ask around 20 questions a day. Compared that with children who ask around 73 questions on average per day. Quite a lot more, isn't it? And experts have estimated, apparently, that in our minds, we average between 2,000 and 3,300 thoughts every hour. That's anything up to around 80,000 thoughts a day. That's a big number. In amongst that, there are small questions and there are big questions. And whether something is a small or a big question or an issue very often depends on the person and the situation that they find themselves in. Picking a piece of fruit from a fruit bowl might be a small question to many of us. Which one do we choose? But in another situation, someone may be choosing to take it when it isn't theirs. Very different context. Morals and values start to come into our decisions. But sometimes basic need takes over. For someone who's starving, choosing to take a piece of fruit that's not theirs is not trivial. It's a matter of life or death. I wonder what questions are important to you. I'm sat here and I believe that God has asked me to make this video to share my thoughts. And one question that is important to me is, how do I show God's love and tell people about my experiences of God? This video is one way. Coffee, cake and chat this afternoon at 2 p.m. on our driveway is another. Games on the Green, a great new thing we've started on Malcolm Road, is another. Being here to talk, support and help people is another. My question is always, what more can I do? I guess over the last 18 months or so, many of us have found ourselves looking at what we can and can't do, whether we're limited and can't get out, or whether we're blessed with strength and ability that we can use for the good of other people. There have been so many amazing stories of people helping their friends, their neighbours and even strangers, because we all find ourselves in a common situation and that commonality binds us together. Interestingly, I know one of the questions for some of the voluntary groups that have emerged over this last 18 months is, how are we going to keep going now people are going back to work and don't have as much time? It's an interesting reflection on how much need there is in our neighbourhoods and communities. And maybe some of that was there, or a lot of that was there before the pandemic and will continue to be there into the future. A thought for you, how do you address the need on your doorstep? What can you do to make a difference, whether it's big or whether it's small? So over the next few weeks of Soundbites, I'm going to pick on some big questions that I hope and think might be helpful. Some of them I'll think up. Some of them will be big questions that people have asked me recently. If you have something specific you'd like me to talk about, do send me a message with your question. Send it on Facebook, email it, and I'll try and put it in a future soundbite. Don't forget coffee, cake and chat this afternoon, 2 p.m, 44 Lindbergh Road. The first question we ask is quite simple. What can I get you to drink? But what's the first question you'd like to ask us? God bless you this week, and I'll see you next time.